All right, welcome everybody to the Brothas podcast. We back like we never left. Go ahead and introduce yourself, fellas.
True blood in here.
JC.
Somebody spoke over there. Well, we got JC, we got Spence, we got True Blood, we got Tally up in here.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? How y'all fellas feeling?
Good.
Everybody quarantined?
good.
Nobody gone crazy yet?
No, not yet.
Nah, I can't do that.
Nah.
It's all about a mindset.
Always.
Black, all about a mindset.
Always. I told you, I was built for this.
Right?
Right.
It's all about mindset. I got you.
Mindset.
You've been prepared for this, huh?
I learned after you, Spence. I learned after you, Spence.
You know he's from New York, so he used to go to the park where the dudes working out at.
That's it. What I've been doing, working out.
He go to the park with the OGs.
That's it.
That's it.
Like, yeah, you know,
Old school.
mindset, you know.
Old school.
Every street corner doing pull up. That's what y'all do out there.
You know, Chris got his pull-up bar in the backyard.
That's it. That's it.
Most
New York sweatshirt and some Timberlands.
Tim, can't forget about the Tims and my Adidas and the Adidases.
The Adidas.
Yeah.
Mm. Y'all imagine. Well, you ain't watched the episode. Y'all imagine what Adidas would have been if Jordan signed with him?
What?
Oh yeah.
Whew.
Any of them.
You got a first Jordan reference, man. Come on now.
There we go, man.
Here we go. It's going to be a hating crowd.
Yeah,
It's going to be.
I didn't even want to start.
You know
there.
that.
I didn't even want to start.
Are you getting a check? I mean, it ain't even 2 minutes and you got a Jordan reference in there. I mean,
He said Adidas, man.
He said Adidas, my Adidas, baby.
you ain't say Run DMC.
Wow.
You said Jordan. And
Woo.
Adidas. Right? I got that.
That's gonna come up later now. That you said that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, man.
because a lot of dudes went to Nike for that.
So what y'all brothers been doing during the quarantine?
Shoot.
Hey, basically a lot of slowing down. I think that's what this quarantine stuff, and I've always looked at it from a spiritual aspect, and you know, it's giving us time to reflect, do the things that should be important to us, family, and just getting just time to stop and reflect on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have family. I know that's obvious. So you just stop and really think about, you know, yourself and being grateful of the things that you have. So
Right.
I get it in that aspect. And families are learning to, you know, get to know one another. So me, I live by my daughter and my niece are up here. So I mean, I've been dealing with them. I've been cooking a whole lot more. But
Skills up.
I'm cooking. Yeah. So that's it.
Well, you ain't got your chef no more.
That's another segment. Another segment. Another
Hey,
segment.
man, we talking about what's going on quarantine,
Exactly.
man.
I'm sure Tally placed the order or two. Right? You said you got to support black businesses, right?
Got you.
Oh
Black
my
excellence.
God.
I ain't got your address. Dang.
But yeah, let me jump in there with this quarantine. But yeah, just to piggyback off of my man Tally, I think it's been a lot of soul searching, at least for me. You know, being home, married, you know, kids, just really, really understanding who you are, where you're trying to go in life, and just knowing, you know, who's important in your life right now. You know, during this time and the pandemic, and everyone is out here, panicking, what's going on, what's happening, da-da-da. I mean, again, I had mentioned this earlier, just having a mindset, some of the things that we're doing here in the household. Again, I'm catching up on the housework, because, the missus is going to make sure that's happening.
Yeah.
Other than that, me and the missus, we started, working out, something that we're doing together, because of my, lovely daughter, Mariah Crisp, who's home now, graduated from college, and she's started her little website. It's called Mo Crisp Fit, And she's basically, you know, being a former D1 division basketball player, she's home and helping us out, you know, with our strengthening and conditioning and just, you know, sitting around and just letting us know, hey, you know, we can continue to do and just stay and feel younger. And again, just catching up with my sons, my two sons, you know, sitting down and just having those man-to-man talks with them, you know, making sure that they realize and understand what's going on out here in the world. And when this so-called pandemic, you know, finishes up, you know, what you guys, you know, plan on doing from this particular point on in your life, because, you know, they're in their 20s. So they really need to know, again, you know, as young men, black men at that, you know, what's to be expected, you know, while they're out here, you know, in this real world. So again, it's just a lot of soul searching, a lot of family, and just a lot of, you know, just catching up on things that's important to me.
All right.
What's that? Hit that website again, man. That's social media for your daughter.
Yeah.
For everybody out there.
It's Mo Crisp Fit. That's MOCRISP as in Peter, F as in Frank, IT.
Okay. So she's trying to get the people up and at 'em and healthy, right?
Oh yes. She's got crazy opportunities now that she's a, you know, college grad. You know, strength and conditioning is kind of like her forte. She's got a, you know, business as a minor background, but she's got opportunities of, you know, a lot of, you know, several colleges are trying to basically scoop her up as a strength and conditioning coach. So it's a great opportunity for her, and you know, we're very excited, you know, to what's to looking ahead for her.
All right. What about you, True?
Man, similar to, you know, what everybody else been saying in regards to like just trying to slow down. So being able to kind of, you know, take time and reflect on, you know, the current situation day by day, and then you know, spend more quality time with family, especially like with my son. You know, he's young and growing, and like it's putting things in perspective even more, like how many hours I'm missing from the house, you know, working late hours. So like that, man, it's it's interesting because, you know, like even this morning I had to run out to take care of some work, and he's accustomed to now me waking him up, and, you know, we doing the prep, and then I'm staying here and doing the work with him. And like, yeah, he called me. He was like, "Where are you, coming back home?" So like that part is like kind of like, shoot, man. Like I've been feeling it, but I didn't know how he was, you know, dealing with it. So now seeing it is like, yo, that's been kind of interesting. And then, you know, taking care of stuff around the house. Like Chris said, I got a long list of honeydews. You know, shoot, man. The first 2 weeks, the missus is like, "Can you make this? Can you do this?" It's like, yo, like I still gotta work, and you trying to juggle like our son in school virtually. And I mean, like in school, they didn't take no break. It was like as soon as we started, we was in class that next month. Yeah, right to it. So like you know, just kind of readjusting and recalibrating like how we, you know, maneuver day to day. And then, you know, just trying to, you know, make the best of it, you know, trying to optimize this time. We've definitely been focusing and on trying to, you know, take advantage of this, you know, challenge opportunity based off investment. So that's one of the big things that we do. So yeah, we've been like really trying to focus in on that and kind of, you know, make a bad situation positive for us. So when we come out better than we went in.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
You
I feel
also
like
being too humble. Hold on. You being too humble too, man. Like you gotta plug the Instagram. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Come on, man.
You know,
Come on, man.
Yeah, well, so that as well. This quarantine definitely thrown me into, well, presented the opportunity and more time for me to kind of get into the social media platform. So I kind of resurfaced. Well, I got on the platform and just kind of reintroduced myself, I guess, from the training aspect. So a lot of people that I trained back in Florida before I moved up here was asking me to get on there to just kind of supply, different methods of working out and training. So I've been doing that, and that's been cool. That's definitely been helping me out, kind of stay grounded. So, not only me just doing my regular routine workouts, but like now learning that whole aspect of like, recording and editing, and like that's a whole, like I have a totally different perspective and appreciation for people that be like on there with these crazy videos. Like, yo, like I'll record the workout for like maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then it takes a whole hour later, chopping it up and make sure it's right, make sure the light is right. So like, yeah, that part has been interesting. But no, I've been enjoying it. It's cool. And similar to like Chris was saying with Mariah, just trying to, present, a way for people to kind of stay grounded, to focus on their mental health, because I can say that I've kind of witnessed some of it. People are really kind of stressing, which, everybody's situation different. So I know that's been challenging. But yeah, no, like that's other things that I've been doing. So yeah, you guys check me out. It's @BTrue_story. So B and then True TRUE_story. So yeah, you can check me out on there. I try to do, weekly challenges for fitness, and then always try to give some type of inspirational motivation to kind of keep individuals grounded.
Spence, what you been up to, bro? I know what you haven't been up to.
Similar to everybody else, man. Like everybody talk about family, talk about time. One of the things that I really do appreciate is the amount of time that we have, and don't take it for granted for that part of it. But the other part is how much time throughout our regular day before this when we waste it. You understand what I'm saying? And then money also. Like, how much money will we waste? Now that you're sitting in the house and you don't have it to kind of spend, like, it's just real interesting to kind of gauge yourself what some things are taken away from you that you think are important. And I think you all have already mentioned that family has probably reset all of us to be our greatest priority. And so with that, I've let go some things that I was a part of and belonging to, my responsibility. And I've brought in some things that I want to do. And so it's about me right now. It's about me and family. So some business things are coming up on the horizon. Some of those things will come up pretty soon. I'll announce those when they do. Nonprofit is coming back. So my work with men and empowering men is coming back when I was doing it in Virginia. And this podcast is a big part of what I want to build for my future with you guys. So I'm making space for all these things. My wife is starting her business. Her business is up and running. Shameless plug. She does bookkeeping and accounting. So all you business owners out there, what do you say? And taxes. Yeah. In the back listening, so it's gonna be peachy. Nah, man, I'm glad to be excited back on the Brothers podcast. Brothers, a lot of content we missed by not getting together, and now we're doing it through the webinar base virtually. I think we got a lot of great content that people want to listen to and see. And so I'm good. Let's jump into it, man.
All right. You got a celebration though, don't you? You can share that?
Yeah.
Oh,
You talk about working with men.
Yeah. So,
you invested in one.
Right.
Right? At least one we know.
My number one project is my son. He's 18. He's graduating from Oxford Hill High School this year. And so we're excited, and he's excited. He'll be headed to the City State University, which is the alma mater, if I'm saying it correctly, of my parents and my sister and my aunts and uncles and my grandparents.
Kept it in the family.
That's the lineage right
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah. So he's excited to go down there. Looks like he's gonna be playing in the band. once they do get on campus. And so we had a signing a couple days ago, and it's caught fire on social media, man. So we're excited that he's going to be taking some energy down there, and he's going to learn some things. And in a few years, he'll be a man in blue and white, representing five fraternity incorporated. Shameless plug.
Oh, so he don't have a choice, man. That's how y'all do it.
You don't have no choice. I mean, yeah, he can make his decision.
Yeah, let him make his own damn decision.
Hey,
That's it.
He may get down to Green.
He don't have a choice.
Hey,
I hear you. He don't have a choice.
Yeah, you're right.
is it going? Is it going to A&T?
No, he's not going to A&T.
Where's he going?
You didn't hear what the brother you said.
I couldn't hit a brother really.
Your sound kind of in and out, man.
Where you going, Spence?
Yeah, it's kind of muffled up.
All
Where's he
right.
going?
Elizabeth City State University.
Elizabeth City. He's still in the CI.
CIAA, baby.
CIAA,
Hey,
baby.
CIAA, yes.
Lib City. Hey, Lib City good, baby. I know about Lib City.
There are people that.
It's good. It's good, but the band is not gonna be like WSSU, baby. What's some State University?
We ain't gonna
So,
go.
I'm just saying. He's going in the band. I'm just saying. We got one of the baddest
So he's trying
bands
with the
in the
fans.
land.
You trying to go to the best?
No. He wants to go to state North Carolina. He didn't say Florida.
You said
He said North
WSSU.
Carolina.
I mean, you
WSSU,
right.
baby.
That's a radio station.
Now your son, he gonna find out what it is when he goes to Elizabeth City. He gonna know where it's at when he gonna know.
There you go. What's up, son?
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. I thought it was a radio station, WSSU.
You know the reason why you thought that, but it's because of the university that you went to down in that somewhere in Virginia. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh.
He went to a PWI though.
I'm sorry. PWI. He know nothing about HBCU. He knows nothing about HBCU. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's what him and the white folks did in the stand. Do it again, Spence.
Exactly.
That's him and the white folks did in the stand. Doing the soccer games.
Those tennis matches.
Tennis matches.
Funny.
None of your teams can beat us in football now.
Oh my goodness.
Or basketball.
Maybe basketball.
We talking about basketball right now?
Basketball. We're switching it.
We talking about basketball now?
You ready to talk about basketball?
That's a good switch.
Black, you ain't tell us what's going on with you.
Good transition. Blackwell, holla at Blackwell.
Black, what's up?
Yeah,
Man,
Black, you gotta tell us what's going on with you.
I've been maintaining, bruh, trying to keep sane. Through this, I found my love for DJing again, which I kind of lost for a couple years. But right now, we just maintain, me and the wife chilling, getting work done around the house. Unfortunately, stuff that happened around the house, we had to get work done on, but we good. Probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, we gonna me and DJ Dunny. Some of y'all already know Dunny. We gonna try a virtual party. See how that works. We try getting this content game, and got some things in the works with that. But right now I'm here, growing the beard out, growing the hair out. We just doing it until we able to get back out in the streets. But right now my deck's been my best friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's all. Pull out the grill. It's about to be that time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's about to be home.
Yes, sir.
I don't have one yet, but I'm getting it.
Gotta make right now.
I know y'all see that back there. Rattlers back there. We ain't even
right now, you gotta make home the best place to be, man.
Oh, y'all pulling out degrees and stuff. What's up with that? Script?
right.
That's your sons or yours?
Oh my goodness.
This is a yearbook.
Yearbook.
You didn't hear those at y'all little colleges. We got a nice hardback yearbook.
Wow.
Yeah,
I guess.
that's what's called investment.
If you say so.
Speaking of investment,
Okay.
because look, y'all want to jump into this right now?
Yeah,
Go with Black.
That's
Go
next
with it,
on the
Black.
agenda. Go with it, Black.
Go with it, Black.
Last Dance documentary,
Mm-hmm.
or should we just really call it the Jordan documentary? Spence, this is directly to you. I know you haven't watched it. You claim you haven't watched it. I'm pretty sure you've been watching it because what else you been watching on a Sunday?
On my word, I haven't watched it.
All right, well, I need you to go watch this doc, and then when you come back, try to deny that Mike's the GOAT. Can't do it.
Try to deny that he's not. What you're saying? I should watch the video, and when I come back, I will be convinced that he is the greatest of all time. All
time. And here's why you
a video that talks about his last year playing.
No. See, that's what you need to go watch because they go from the last year and they trickle all the way down. It's like they go through different time periods throughout his life to show you.
So why is it called the last dance?
Because it focuses in on the 98 run, but it shows you everything that led up to that 98 run. And it would.
How much of a check is he getting?
Huh?
How much of a check is he getting for this?
Man, come on, man. What does that matter?
Really?
If LeBron did one, you think LeBron ain't getting a big check for it? Come on.
We just talking about Michael Jordan right now.
No, because you say
real talk though. I heard his production company is the one doing it. Is that true?
Oh, I don't know. Is that true?
So he's getting money. I mean, ESPN is doing it. I mean, showing it. I heard Michael Jordan's production company is.
He's a businessman. What's wrong with that? He's a businessman.
He's a billionaire. Why would
he's a billionaire? Why wouldn't he?
So I have an issue. Okay, so let's talk about it. I have an issue with that.
Oh man,
you have an issue with it. You have an issue with it.
What's the issue?
Spence, what did you say, Brother Spence? I heard you say something.
I said he can talk really well about himself and publish himself, but we haven't heard him talk about much of anything else that is relative to the people that support him by his shoes and things like that.
Well, that's why you need to watch the doc, bro.
I see what you're doing, Spence.
You brought up a good point.
But Spence,
go ahead, True Blood. Go ahead.
I would say, I see how you spinning it, but nobody's questioning LeBron, what we perceive on the court.
No, because we know
everybody knows LeBron.
We know where it's coming from.
Because we know where it's coming from on the court, though, like the contribution to the game, right? Basketball, not what he did beyond the court.
Exactly.
At least that's what I'm assuming when y'all saying he's the GOAT, because y'all know I threw a curveball in there.
On the court.
What you're saying.
On the court.
It's gotta. That's at least what I think y'all talking about. It's got to be on the court, right? We only know him as a basketball player.
Well.
I don't know him personally. My bad.
Like I said, if you look at it, according to the documentary, it was going downhill. Then I think Magic and Bird's rivalry, Celtics and Lakers, kind of elevated. But Michael Jordan brought a whole different marketing brand.
Yeah, he made it global.
He made it global. Especially when the Dream Team went to the Olympics, and Michael was the forefront, because by then the Jordan brand, which was established, became top notch. Back in the day, everybody was talking about the Converse. Back Adidas.
Adidas.
The Chucks.
Yeah.
The Chucks.
The Chucks.
When you had Bernard King, you had Larry.
Julius Irving, Larry Bird, Mad Johnson.
Y'all see that terrible commercial, man?
I remember that commercial, man.
They
weren't even on beat.
Bird was probably the most on beat than any of them.
Yeah. But Jordan, he changed the game as far as on a marketing perspective. With these sponsors, the McDonald's, the Gatorade, all kind of different commercials, and he made it global. So he can be credited for that, because now, somebody, you take a kid now like, what's your boy name from Duke? You want to look like EEC, in special needs.
Zion.
Zion.
Hey.
You gotta remember. Hey, look.
Are we so?
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
No.
But you think about these guys now, before they sign their contracts to the teams, they already have sponsorships from these shoe companies that what their contracts are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we can definitely thank Jordan for that because he started that. I mean, he made that what it is, man.
He got Bo Jackson to go to Nike, right?
Yeah,
like
he did.
That's beyond. I mean, if we are gonna say beyond basketball, like
because
he put Nike on the platform. They was in third place. There was a new company, third place behind Adidas and
Converse. Probably.
And Converse, right?
Yeah, and next to Be Like Mike, I think Bo Knows became the next biggest.
Yeah, that was the next big.
It did.
It was a spinoff.
It really
Bo
was.
knows this. Bo knows that.
It really was.
You know. So
my point is all that has attributed to the persona and the image that we adore, which is Michael Jordan. And I read the book, Malcolm Gladwell talks about outliers and talks about people that we consider to be the cream of the crop in their respective fields, and how a lot of them have this talent that is on the same level as others, but they had a certain amount of things that worked in their favor at certain times. They had the opportunity to have an open gym at their disposal when everybody else didn't have. Bill Gates got free computer time that other people didn't have. So all I'm saying is that if we're going to say greatest of all time, it has to include what happens outside the lines of the basketball court. And that's what has built the Michael Jordan image, you know.
But he probably still wins there. Like he might still win off the court.
Yeah, I think after what Tally just said, he definitely wins off the court. I think
for marketing.
Yeah, because even all these other guys got shoes. LeBron, KD, Kobe, like
he's an owner. Wait a minute, time out, y'all. He's an owner. He's a black owner, y'all.
Black owner.
What are we saying here?
First.
That's not a big deal.
No, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Oh, okay.
It seemed a little sarcastic back there.
Yeah, it did.
My bad.
He ain't gonna do that though.
No, he's not gonna do that.
No, not at all. So that's what I was about to say. For the culture wise, I don't think he's like ever gonna step in that lane, right? Like I don't think he's not for our culture, right? You know, but maybe for
Me and Chris had a discussion about that earlier. My thing is if he didn't feel comfortable in playing that role, his whole thing was like, I don't know nothing about that. That's not what I'm about. Step back. I appreciate that more than somebody just
trying to fake it
and acting like and then looking like a complete fool.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then so everybody got a role to play. So his role could be he's a financial marketing person. He's gonna teach the people how we gonna get this money and da 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 da. Then you got your Muhammad Ali type. They're the type that's going to start the revolution. Like everybody got a role to play.
Exactly.
That wasn't Jordan role to play. I feel like
Exactly.
sometimes LeBron tried to step in all of these roles. You know what I mean? At one time, just to appease for everybody. Like, I mean,
and he really doesn't have anything to lose. LeBron, he doesn't have anything to lose. Because if you think about back in the day, back in '91 or whenever, you know, the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, according to the documentary, he was only making like $3 million. Mike wasn't making a lot of money on the court in the NBA. He was making his money with Nike. So you figure he had a lot to lose by being that, I guess, quote unquote, activist. He came out, he said, listen, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm a ball player. I mean, my craft is playing basketball. I'm gonna master this. I'm gonna dominate this, and I'm gonna show everyone the reason why I am the greatest. And he proved the fact. I mean, he proved it his whole entire career. That's what he was about. Just like Black just got finished saying, everyone has their role. You know, in his role, right? You know, it was not like what LeBron and you know, and all the, I guess, the updated players of today are doing. You know, they're, you know, speaking out on, you know, social events and so forth and so on. I mean, that's not Michael Jordan. That's not who he was. And
Right.
again,
Who was
you have to appreciate that. You got to appreciate that.
Well, I don't want to say,
Who was
I don't want to use the word appreciate, but he was asked. I know Harvey Gantt. His daughter I went to school with his family. He was asked to help support the cause because the senator in North Carolina, Jesse Helms,
I know.
again.
Mhm.
So Michael Jordan was asked because of his influential in basketball. He was asked. He made a comment that he didn't clarify until it was necessary in this documentary that Republicans buy shoes too.
But he also explained the comment.
He explained it
afterwards.
But he said he didn't feel like he needed to because it was something he was joking.
That's always going to be a debate. And so how you going to say you don't need to when you were asked to help support this cause? Michael Jordan,
did he get the money?
On education.
Did he get the money to? He said he donated the money.
He did donate the money.
He donated the money for that, and then he built something else
to kind of make it. You know, I think the kind
But he wasn't out there giving the dude the money, then going to the what's the guy, the other
Jesse
guy,
Helms.
Jesse Helms, and campaigning for him. He was like, look, man.
Okay, but to give somebody some money, that's really nothing. When it's really something that a PR person probably did for him to make himself look good, because he had made that comment. And he was trying to get himself out of trouble.
I bet you would get that money back though.
So, no,
exactly.
So we can't say it's nothing. I bet you
but
he
we
return that check.
Money is power, but money is not everything. His contribution wasn't enough to help Harvey Gantt get over that hump that he needed to get over with to get that vote. And they figured with Jordan being as a respectable athlete in North Carolina would have helped that Harvey.
You mean from North Carolina? He wasn't in there. He was in Chicago.
Yeah, he was in Chicago.
He's from North Carolina.
Well, from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Does that really work though? Because I mean, we saw.
We don't know, but Jordan had opportunity.
We saw Jay-Z and Beyonce out there campaigning for Hillary and all that stuff. It don't work, right?
I think that was one though, and I think with what you just mentioned, Blackwell, you got to look at who they were following. There was a black president, and
I'm talking about what Hillary. I'm talking about.
I know Hillary,
but that's what I'm saying. So the next election after this black president, and I'm making the assumption, but I'm assuming like the people that tapped into supporting 45 was like, we already done went far left and gave a black person the opportunity to lead this. Now they're saying they were gonna let a woman do it. I don't know, man. And I know we kind of talked about this in the last episode. Those are two marginalized groups, right? So I can't see the white male masses being like, all right, now let's give women a chance. Like, heck no.
So do you think you was living in North Carolina around the time? You think that because this was a North Carolina race, right?
Yes.
So do you think that the demographic in North Carolina still would have fit to him being elected anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the race was so close, that's what they were saying. That's why they made a big deal. The race was not a large margin victory. They thought Jordan's influence at that time helped to get, to make that gap, to fill that gap. But, who knows? Like you said, if Jordan would have done it and he would have lost, so be it. But because the guy didn't win and Jordan denied it and he made that comment, you know how the media, they was trying to find something negative against Jordan anyway.
And I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So I'm glad
that was one of the things that he was, tagged with because he didn't support Harvey Gantt, or they gave him a financial contribution, but he didn't support him, and like he was asked to, and be like a visual, sponsor of endorsement. He said he wasn't going to endorse, but he'd give some money towards it because he said Republicans buy Jordans too. So
which is a true statement.
It is. But to say, you know how controversial, he make a statement, and it's Michael Jordan. No, at that time had not had any, bad marks on him. Besides, you know, I think I don't think the gambling thing
that happened yet.
Hadn't started yet. Hadn't
right.
started
So
yet.
they were trying to look for something.
Exactly.
So yeah, that was the beginning of it.
And Horace Grant out there snitching on everybody.
So,
basically, yeah.
Horace Grant say, I ain't snitching on nobody.
That's what a snitch. That's what a snitch say when they get caught. Like, nah, it wasn't me.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
But hey, Spence, let me ask you a question, Spence.
Is the question gonna be on the court? Go ahead.
It's definitely on the court. I mean, it's kind of off the court.
Because you know.
But what would you think Jordan would have done if one of his teammates came to him and said, "Yo, Scottie Pippen is smashing your mom"?
Yo, what? Yo,
this is what separates the men from the boys.
Continue.
If somebody would have came to Jordan and told him that, he would have beaten his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then went out there.
Yes, he would have.
Pippen's bigger than Jordan, bro.
It don't matter.
It don't make a difference. Knowing George's mentality don't make a difference.
He squared up with him. And then when
he would have squared up. I don't think you would have beat Pippen.
And Pippen was soft. Pippen was, come on now. We watching the doc. Come on now. Everybody said, you know, Pippen ain't got that.
Watch enough of the documentary.
Ain't got that heart. He had to grow into that. Jordan always had that heart. But he would have whooped on Pippen. Then went out there and dropped 60 on whoever he was playing. LeBron.
On the other hand,
your king, your GOAT. He had to be subdued. He was on the sideline crying. He just shut down.
And Black, didn't he leave the team? And he ran off.
And he left the team.
Yeah, ran off. Yeah.
What?
I don't think Jordan would have done that.
That's your GOAT. That's your GOAT. We already know. Jordan still go talk about in the third grade when some kid did something, he go whoop it. Jordan hold grudges. He don't care.
Exactly. He was so competitive. Competitive. He had a mindset, Spence. There's that word again, a mindset of I'm gonna dominate regardless of who's on the floor. Okay? Who's on the floor? And he would have to motivate himself when he ran out of things. If the media ran out of things to motivate, he had to motivate himself to make sure that when he was on the floor, I'm getting you. And then he would predict. He was, it was some similarities between him and Ali because he would actually predict prior to games and playoff games. Not just regular season game, playoff games, what he was going to actually do, and he did it.
And you can't tell me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say sociopath.
Sound like a sociopath. That's okay. You need to be like that on the court. You need to be like that on the court. Okay. Hey.
You ain't gonna
take no prisoners. Take no prisoners.
We're under the attributes of thuggery. Beating somebody, being highly competitive.
Let me ask you a question.
Being wishy-washy between what your conscience is and how much money you come into your pocket. You may be right. He's the greatest of all time in all those things that you just mentioned.
On the floor too, Spence. You forgot that.
Those are my prayers, huh?
You forgot to stay on the floor. Spence, we're talking about on the floor.
Yeah, we're
talking about playing basketball. I'm talking playing the game.
What would you?
I mean, you're talking about politics and everything else.
What would you have done if one of your homeboys came to you and said, "Yo, old boy smashing your moms"? What would you have done?
What would I have done?
Yeah, we talking about thuggery. What would you have done?
We talking about the Spence back in 1990, 91, 92, 93.
You talking about this thuggery? Everybody getting paws put on them, straight like that.
Your
man shut down from the world.
Hey, people respond differently. That's what y'all say, right? You all said that wasn't him. You said about Michael, right? He said that wasn't me. I'm different, right? So why can't I say anything about it? He's a sensitive brother.
That's okay.
Which is why with great power he accepts responsibility. We talk about this because he's very sensitive to the needs of himself and his community. Now, everybody can't be for self. Everybody can't be selfish. Everybody can't do things that put your family in harm's way. I'm just telling you.
Wow.
Yo, that's dirty, man.
We going there.
Yo.
That's all speculation, by the way. That has not been confirmed.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying.
I don't want that to come out.
It's been confirmed. It's been confirmed about your man smashing his mama.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop talking about his mom getting smashed, bro.
Hey, y'all saw how she was. Never mind.
So it's always fun because we always see ourselves and our heroes, but it's really unfair to do that because I think Tally did something early today. Like, can you post who you post today?
Bill Russell. That's who he posted.
And so how do you
y'all know that's my vote?
How do you have a conversation about the greatest of all time? You don't talk about Bill Russell. You don't talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and people like this. I think LeBron and Jordan are fun to watch, and I think that's why you see those great comparisons. But you know, I always lean to some of the old cats to talk about people who never made it to the league that would have bust both of them. And I always think about how people get opportunities that other people don't. How people get to go to private schools and other people don't. You know, and I remember seeing a cat at ODU that I thought was nasty. I was like, dang, why is he somewhere else? But for whatever reason, you know, it happens like that. He was from Carolina too, Tally. I still met this dude, and his name was Mike. Who was Mike's name? This dude could hop out the gym.
Well, we got a lot of those. I had a lot of those at St. Aug that, you know, I'm like, dang, dude, why are you here? You know, everybody had their road to travel.
So I mean, I know we do it out of fun. I'm just going to end and I say that I'm a fan of LeBron. I'm a fan of Jordan too. But I think, and I'm gonna do this contest. I'm gonna lean to this. A lot of what my appeal about LeBron is his ability to master what's on the court, and is also his ability to navigate, master off of the court in the field. And that's what I see in him that I like to see, like in my son and some of my mentees. And that's why I have an attraction to that particular type of athlete. You know, but I love Jordan too, man. I had Jordan posters on my wall, bro. You know, I ain't never had a LeBron poster on my wall. I never bought a pair of LeBrons, but you know, it's his what it is. LeBron is a GOAT. Next topic.
You can't throw that LeBron's a GOAT and then say next topic.
Exactly. Come on.
Yeah.
But I will watch it because I am a fan, but I always like to do a lot of things. I like to wait for the hype to go down and just kind of absorb it and kind of let it resonate, and then because you know everything is marketing. Like people put things for a certain reason through media. They want you to laugh, they want you to cry, they want you to buy, they want you to purchase, and the objectivity out of it is usually not at pureness. And so I'm trying to figure out what is the message that's being presented out of this, and is it without bias?
It's never gonna be without bias, right?
There it is.
I mean, the quarantine occurred during the NBA season. I feel like it just only makes sense to put out.
Well, you know, originally it wasn't supposed to come out until what was it like?
Don't say it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't supposed to come out, right? And then NBA is down. It's like, oh shoot. Yo, they made that phone call. Jordan, look, we got to put this out. Like we need the buzz. Yeah, they're like, we got to get that buzz. So
it's supposed to come out in like June or something, right?
June? Something like that.
Around Father's Day time.
Huh?
After them Lakers won. You see how I changed it up. I said after them Lakers won.
True blood. The Lakers gonna win the chips this year.
So that's what we doing. We giving them imaginary chips and stuff.
Wow.
Y'all just gonna straight disrespect Kawhi like this, man. See, I was gonna be quiet about the GOAT, and I didn't say nothing about Bill Russell because
Kobe, God rest his soul. He eliminated himself.
Hey, True Blood.
He said so in the doc. He said he got
True Blood. The Lakers gonna win the championship if they resume back to the NBA, man.
Hell yeah.
You're not a Lakers fan no more. You can't answer that question.
I know that. That's why he's laughing.
I'm a Lakers fan,
y'all better act like y'all know Kawhi's still in LA.
Exactly.
Y'all crazy, bro.
Exactly.
We win that series in game 6. 6 games.
That's right.
6 game series.
That's right.
All right.
6 game series.
All right.
They don't go nowhere. They don't go nowhere.
Clippers too deep on the bench.
Easy.
Clippers are too deep on the bench. Extreme
Right.
PG,
So
man.
what?
PG? Are y'all crazy?
Exactly.
So,
He's too
We already
like,
talked about that.
They
Now
got two boys over there can boogie.
They whooped their ass.
Not when it counted.
One time.
Not when the lights are on. The lights got to be on, baby.
One time.
Man.
Come on, what we talking about?
Bruh.
Regular season?
Okay,
The Lakers
Regular season?
once
we're
this
gonna
year.
table this because that's another topic.
Nah,
Bruh,
Lakers
because you
beat them.
banking on Dwight Howard to come off the bench and give you some good minutes after Anthony Davis on the bench. Because Anthony Davis and LeBron got to play the whole game.
Exactly.
It still ain't gonna be enough.
No,
Right.
not necessarily.
All right, okay, my bad. You know what? Matter of fact, this quarantine is hurting you.
We got
Spence
Ron,
more
Rondo,
than the Clippers
on the,
because LeBron is on the clock. So
yeah, it's gonna hurt.
It's really hurting y'all.
He need this year.
Because I know
He need
y'all
this year for real.
trying to get up from that 33% winning or whatever the average is for LeBron. Because it ain't looking good. He pretty close. He real close to Jerry West. So he might be the new logo. He might be the new logo. Because
Spence, defend your
y'all
boy, man.
serious?
Defend your man. Yo, don't let him talk about your man like that, Spence.
Are y'all
Come on,
serious?
come on.
How many
Man.
championships he got?
Who? Jerry West or LeBron? I think West got one and LeBron got what, 3?
Ron got 3 chips, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Bill Russell had 11.
so that's a great feat to at least get 3, right?
Huh?
That's a great feat to have 3 championships, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially if they were all with the same team.
How many? Who we got him with?
Whoops.
Who we got him with?
Gotta go super team. Some other people.
I said,
Yeah,
no, I said,
right?
You know, that was another point I brought up.
yeah.
He about to get 4 for the 3rd team, right?
Who?
Who you talking about? Like Robert Horry?
Man, let me
It's
tell
gonna
you
look like this. It's gonna look like this.
Robert Horry.
1, 2, 1.
Man, Robert Horry already did that.
My point is, he ain't got to worry about a clock.
What?
What does he got? What he got to do, man? He's already in the conversation with the best ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody's arguing that. Like nobody's arguing that.
There's no clock. He can stop playing today, and he's still at least in the top 2 of ever played.
Boy, stop.
Boy, stop.
Yo, bro.
What? Oh, my goodness. Are we serious?
We just finished having a 30-minute conversation about 2 people.
Well, that's because they want.
I mean,
you got to throw Kareem in there.
No, I'm not throwing Kareem in there. I already told y'all who it is. It's Bill Russell, but y'all want to keep dismissing it.
Bill Russell.
Like,
Bill Russell was playing against midgets.
Right.
But see, that's the same thing with
Right.
LeBron. At least he took advantage of it. So you telling me LeBron
That's true.
with 6'9",
6'8",
280 pounds,
exactly.
and he don't know how to take advantage of that situation? Everybody else is guarding him. Come on, man.
And the game is a lot easier
You know why?
now.
Right.
True blood. You know what it is? LeBron doesn't have that mindset on the court.
My bad. But
Once
like
again, somebody
mindset
smashing your mama.
On the court. On the court. On the court. Not off the court, Spence. Not off the court. Not off the court. On the court.
But that affected him on the court. You're gonna sit there gonna cry on the bench. Hey,
Yo,
get out. Hey,
this
go
dude
put hands
played
on
in the
somebody.
league for 13 years and won it 11 times.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Come on, bro.
That's great.
That's nice.
But it was like what? It was like 10 teams in the league around it. Like, come on,
They
man.
still did it.
Come on, man. Come on.
He still did it.
Come on,
You still got to
come
win
on,
him.
man. Yeah, you still got. Come on, man.
They were doing granny shots.
But, so what's different now though? Like LeBron is literally running people over.
Mm-hmm. You can't touch no one now.
and he still don't win every year. So what that
right?
take?
And you got guys that like they adjust the route. Like you can travel, and you like, come on, man.
3-4 steps.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
right. So like you gonna say, okay, well this is that time. I get it. You're right. And I didn't watch him when he played late 50s and 60s, so I can't say like I seen
They
it.
even got film of it. Like,
Right. They got film of it. I watched clips of it. But I'm saying like I'm sure every era gonna say that one era was more challenging than different because we saying like Bill Russell had to deal with some other stuff that LeBron and Jordan didn't have to deal with, right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
That's
fact.
true.
So like
That's facts.
So we're talking about beyond the court.
and he played
Like,
in Boston.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So he was in Boston. They didn't like him. They didn't want him there as the person, but they wanted him there to win the chips. Come on, man. So like that's almost like when we seen the Jackie Robinson documentary and all that. Like, say what?
That's the same thing today.
No.
Well,
I'm not gonna make that.
That kind of bring us to our next topic.
All right. What's the next topic, brother?
Brother Aubrey. Is I'm pronouncing that right?
Aubrey.
Yeah.
Ahmaud Aubrey.
Ahmaud Aubrey.
Yeah, so I guess to catch everybody up, young brother was out, I guess, taking a jog, was going for a jog, and two white guys thought he was a burglar, which go figure that, and chased him down the street and shot him. Is that about right?
Yeah.
They claim they got video of it. I don't want to watch the video because I
didn't want to watch the video either, man, but I felt compelled to understand what happened in that time. And I pushed it off for a long time. And then I thought, if it was my son or me, I would want somebody to know what had happened. And so you can own it. So we can own it as a people. And I mean people, that means people that share the relative culture of the young man that was shot. That these things are real.
Right.
It's not just on movies. And we have to understand and adjust accordingly.
But hold on, who is it not real for though? Because I feel like in our community, we know it's very real. So we don't need to continuously see these images because we know
what's going on.
We see it regularly. So who's it not real for anymore?
That's propaganda, bro.
Well, it's psychological warfare.
Yeah, because they want you to see this, man. It's like it's almost like it's the whipping post, right? Just so you remember, like, yo, just in case you thought he was coming up, right? I know you turn on the TV and we see a lot of productive and influential black men. I can still get rid of you if I want to. And it's like, yo, like, man.
Nothing's being done.
Right. Like,
yeah, so, and I think the whole alarm is just what you said, Brother Chris, is that there has been a hesitation to bring about formal charges against the two men. And that is why you see the social media push. That's why you see the outrage and the alarm, because it has happened too many times, and the hesitation is just icing on the cake. And in my mind, I sometimes, you say, well, it could have been an honest mistake. But then you're like, no, because what would have happened? It was me and my son, and we had shot a Caucasian individual running and jogging in the neighborhood. I don't think there would have been hesitation to bring about formal charges. We probably might not have made it back to the house.
Right.
And so that is why you see the alarm and the upset and the tension that's going over something that, like you said, Blackwell, we have observed, or we might have even been victim of ourselves in some capacity, of just kind of overt racism or bigotry, or if it's not, just flat out ignorance. So True Blood mentioned the Black Panthers, but we often forget, and I think the marginalized Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who has a design also, and he often gets the label from media as being anti and opposing and a fanatic. But if you look at the design, or just go talk to somebody and study them, their design, at least at one point, was one of the biggest threats to this system for a number of years. And because it promoted self-identity, it promoted separatists, not by way of we're better than you, but by way of, no, we can handle and take care of our own type of stuff. And in history, whenever you see communities that take care of their own, protect their own, invest in their own, there's always been some sort of accident or some sort of disastrous threat to that community, in which they are no more in competition to the status quo. And so what people have to understand is that we are 13 to 14% of the population, which means we are a minority, and we'll often get treated like that. But the power part about that is we probably influence the majority 10 times that, especially by the way we spend our dollars, by the way we influence culture, and by the way what I mean by we as people of African descent or the disenfranchised populations that have resulted from the African diaspora and slavery. That's what I'm talking about when I say we. I always got to come back to that. But just because you have a brown tone don't mean you're part of the we.
Right.
And so, and some brown tones don't care about other brown tones getting shot in the street with a shotgun because they're jogging. And so what are we doing is, we have to train our own children to, one, learn self-defense. We have to train them to be strategists in the manner of forecasting, strategizing, understanding their environment, and playing that particular part of that game that has them ahead of the game, not behind it. So those are some of the things we can do individually, that if we all do that and each one teach one, then those minor outcomes that you talk about, True Blood, I believe will become larger domino-based effects that will mean better for our community. But once it happens, you know that you're more of a threat.
Yeah.
And more
Right. And like what you mentioned with Farrakhan, because he wasn't anti anything. He just pro-Black. Like, it's totally different. It was totally different. He just like, yo, I'm setting this up for this group of people, right? And it wasn't like an inclusive approach. So now it was spent to a different narrative. But yeah, it's.
Yeah. So Tally, what would you have done, man, if you would have witnessed that or saw that or been around that, or have you experienced anything like that in the past?
Man, I mean, it's hard to say. It's easy to say what you would do if you were there, in the actual act, than it is to say what you would do if, just in general. But like I said, times are different, man. I mean, we had so many incidents. I've probably been in a rage like you, Spence. I got young men that I'm raising and just trying to teach them how to be productive citizens in society. I mean, it affected me in a way where, do you go with the Martin Luther King approach, or do you go with the Malcolm X approach? So it just depends, man. I mean, I can sit here and say that.
Or the Marcus Garvey approach.
Marcus Garvey.
There you go.
Eye for an eye, damn it. Let's go ahead. Let's get this. So it just depends. So I guess I'm really trying to say I'm not sure.
It's hard.
Now it's hard. I can say now how I would want to conduct myself in that situation. But to be in it, I mean, I even heard True Blood say what he said. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm just thankful that it didn't happen. I don't have a personal experience with that. And sitting back, from outside looking in, we definitely would want to revenge mode and retaliate. But is that the smartest thing to do right now? So
I don't know.
You have to look at it. You have to look at it,
Me personally, I mean, if it happened to me, I know who I am, and I would be in a rage to a point where I would want to, get revenge. I mean, I would want to get back. But then the other part of me is like, okay, well, wait a minute, ho. If you do that, okay, where's that putting you? And like you were just saying, Tyler, I'm also raising young men. And I think what my approach has been, letting them know what's going on out here, and they are fully aware. But I think I like to kind of like want to say to take the approach of, make sure that you make it home safe. Okay, make sure you're doing what you need to do to stay out of harm's way. But sometimes harm's way is going to be there. So now what do you do? What do you do? I mean, how do you, I basically let them know, hey, you do everything that you need to do to stay out of harm's way. But if it comes at you, then here again, you're gonna have to protect yourself. You're gonna have to do what you need to do to get out of that situation, and hopefully, prayerfully, you can make it home safely. I know personally, when I was younger, I used to live in Durham, North Carolina, right after I graduated from Winston, and I was there shortly, and I had a part-time job as I delivered papers, and not just in that community. It was like a very large portion of Durham, and I would always, and it would be like late at night. It was after 12 midnight. You get your paper route. I go to a certain location, and I always remember that this one particular police officer would always drive up and see me. He saw my car. He knew who I was. And, we would wave, kind of like speak, and, kind of like, move on. But it was one night when I drove and I was doing my rounds, and I went to this one particular convenience store that I always would drop my certain stash off, of newspapers. Same route that I would do every single night. And then I'm driving down the street, dark, all of a sudden, 2 cop cars come flying up on me, pulling me over, okay, pulling me out of the car in handcuffs, gun to my head on the ground. True story. I'm sitting here like, okay, is my life getting ready to end? What's going on? Do I get combative and say, what are you doing, da da da? So I, being young, I was young. I just told myself, hey, just stay calm and let's just see what's going on. So when they put me in the police officer car, and then finally came back to me and took me out of the car, they were sitting there questioning me. And as he was questioning me, I was telling them who I was, what I did. And the other police officer who came up was the same guy who I see every single night when I start my route. And he knows me. And I looked at him and I said, sir, you know me. I deliver this area every single night. You know this. He was like, well, sir, calm down. What's going on is the one particular convenience store that you just delivered it came from, apparently someone came up in there and stole something out of the convenience store, and apparently it was the same type of car that you have and the same model. And I was like, and I sat there and I thought about that for a second, because back then I had a Honda Accord with New York license plates. I didn't even have North Carolina plates. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what's the coincidence of someone driving up in that convenience store with the same model, same brand, same color, with New York license plates? I was like, okay, you know what? And I was so incredibly frustrated. I was shaken, but just so frustrated. And wasn't even sure if I was going to continue it, but I continued it, because that's basically all I had at that particular point in time. But anyway, getting back to my point, you just don't know when you get in situations like that what you're going to actually do, but I guess you're just going to have to be in a situation like that to really, understand, how you're going to react.
Hey, can I ask something can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
And like Chris mentioned, like what we do, I said what we do in our house. I've had that conversation with my wife. Like I try to plan, and it's crazy, right? That we even have to have this type of conversation. And of course, everything may not go as scripted, but and I know I have a different perspective. I only have one son, right? So you all have multiple sons. So I'm clearly viewing it from this vantage point that I'm currently in, So I hear what you're saying. I think the sad part though is at least kind of just start for us. And clearly it's a tough conversation, just trying to, talk through that and try to find some level of reasoning, because it's sad that this is a reality that we got to have this conversation and have these thoughts, like you just mentioned, Chris. your sons could do everything right, similar to this scenario, and somebody just decides to do something crazy. And I think, I won't say that, I know part of kind of like why I feel the way and I process the way I do these situations is because like what you just shared with us, Chris, like imagine experiencing that, right? Like multiple times growing up, right? If it was directly at you or like with your family members, right? And I like to believe I grew up in a very comfortable situation, but like, you visiting family members, and I can remember I probably was like 8 and we was down in Jacksonville. We came out of Denny's, and as soon as we came out, like some officers just told us like, get up on the wall. I'm a little kid with my older cousin. I don't know what's going on. And hands on the wall, spread your feet. What? Face down on the ground. Like it's just crazy, And you I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. And I think another thing I wanted to mention, because I know Tally said it, and I think you said it too, Chris. I think this maybe what Spence was talking about is you said if it happened to you personally. I think we have to find a way to find it being personal, right? If we're talking about we are part of this community, because if we wait till it affects us like directly, like then it's maybe too late. Like so, like it's like it happened to him. That affects me, right? That affects my son, because he looks like me. He looks like my son in their eyes, right? Like I think we all look different clearly, but like when they see us the same. So like I don't know, like this, it's just so frustrating because, and I think maybe I don't want to misinterpret what Spence was saying, but I think like that's kind of like that slave mindset, right? Because like it didn't happen to me, so I'm okay. I made it to another day, but it's like no, like that means your number could be pulled tomorrow.
Right.
This stuff matters to you now because, like, I don't know, man. I'm trying.
Where do y'all stand on forgiveness? Because that's usually the first go-to in situations like this. Like, oh, gotta forgive. I think we kind of touched on this on the first episode.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's been one of the main cogs in the whole thing is this: everybody's supposed to forgive.
That's slave mentality.
Yeah, for these misdoings, and that just puts people in the mind frame of that instead of the other thing. Just to me. They probably gonna cut my computer off again, right?
Exactly. But seriously, whenever I'm talking on the phone or social media or on texting, I'm automatically assuming that I'm not the only one listening to it or viewing it or reading it, and other than the person. I mean, in addition to the person that I'm sending it to. Yeah. And so, I say it, and when I say it, I'm saying purposely that I understand I can say it around other people, those who may be listening without my permission. But we kind of grinning because we understand that this it leads often into the conversation that we often have about how tradition and religion has sometimes worked against us, and in the form of unification. And somebody said something a couple of days ago about whenever we had somebody that rebelled against the system, be it Mark DC or be it Nat Turner, it was always somebody within his community that was the person that helped him to get caught or help for justice to be served to them. And so that we use often is tough because we are not all on the same page. And that's why we sometimes stay in this comfort zone and really don't lash out our frustrations the way we really, really feel for fear. And, and that lends itself to forgiveness is the easy way out. I don't think we forgive because we still talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it still comes up. And we still send out social media memes. I think forgiveness is the easy way to say, because it's not working with me right now, or I don't have to deal with it, then I can set it to the side, even if it is frustrating and even if it is causing me trauma. And it's tough, man. And I wish that we would take a little bit more of a direct approach. I wish that sometime we won't stand behind the veil of religion to kind of, I guess, mask our true feelings and our feelings of frustration and our feelings of aggression that we want to exhibit, which is natural. I mean,
it's okay to be angry.
Somebody backs you into a corner, man.
Yeah, it's okay.
You gotta defend yourself. You gotta defend yourself.
Somebody backs either one of you into a corner. It's up for either one of us to help to defend you. And if not, go and find who did it. And so I think it's easier if we know the person. So like True Blood said, man, we're all in this thing together, and just like our ancestors have dealt with it. So, and that's the traumatic part that keeps us thinking that we are inferior when we have so many things going for us that cause a threat to the status quo. So that's my word to whoever's listening to this podcast without our permission. We fear none but God.
But it kind of also, and I always throw a wild card out there because that's just where I am. My thing is with stuff like that is, one, how is George Zimmerman still walking this earth? I'm just gonna say certain things like this. We got dudes out here that will shoot up whatever because they pop Pookie, their homeboy Pookie down there, and will shoot up a whole block. Not even going at the people that actually did it, just going because you associate with it. But stuff like this can happen. George Zimmerman can walk around here doing whatever, and not one dude that's about that life even approached any of that. You know what I mean? Just saying.
What's the guy that got killed in Crenshaw, the rapper?
Yeah, Nipsey.
Right.
So Nipsey Hussle is shot and George Zimmerman is still walking around. That's crazy.
The dude, matter of fact, the dude that shot Nipsey was able to hide out for at least a week or so. And everybody loved this dude so much.
Yeah, and so if we know, here's another conversation. If we know that if we know that people that have a similar culture of ours is not willing to protect or be a steward of our culture, how far should we go to continue to be stewards for those folks?
Oh, say that again? Okay.
Dang, that's heavy.
Yeah, that's real heavy.
That's extremely heavy.
Say it one more time. I ain't catching.
So if the killer of Nipsey Hussle was able to hide out for a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all supposed to be the same people. We supposed to be the same culture. And we love Nipsey Hussle, right? And George Zimmerman is still walking around, who has been a direct threat, overtly, through action and words to the people of the culture, and he's still around. I'm not wishing anybody to die. I'm just saying.
I got you.
And in comparison, how far are we willing to go to lend a hand to those who are not willing to lend a hand back or pull their own pants up by the bootstraps and get in the fight with them? That's my question.
I got the Harriet Tubman philosophy, bro.
Who's really family?
I got the Harriet Tubman philosophy, right?
Okay.
So if you say you with me, and now we didn't leave, you change your mind. Ain't no option to go back. Like she got it right, and I've had this conversation with a few people that's like, no, that's messed up. I'm like, how? Because if they change their mind, like they left, they changed their mind. If you let them go back,
Right.
what you
They
expect?
telling everybody.
Like,
Well,
like they done seen too much.
well,
So I mean, right? We can't save them all, right?
it reminds me. This is like off subject, but not off subject, but different. Anybody watch Ozark?
Nah, not
No.
just
A
the
little
first
bit.
one.
I couldn't get
Not
past
yet.
the first season.
Oh,
I couldn't
yet.
get past the first season.
y'all can get past. Okay, well, it's
What is it about though? I heard people talking about it.
It's about money laundering
Oh,
for
okay.
drug goers, but it's a one of the main characters. She has a brother who's mentally ill, and he was off his pills, and he pretty much blew everything up, right? Like was just running his mouth.
Oh.
So they went and tried to hide him from the killers, but he was so mentally messed up. He kept trying to alert people to where he was at. So the sister is driving him, and it comes to a point the sister realized he's gonna keep calling. Like she goes to the grocery store and he sneaks and buys a cell phone. And she was just like had this look on her face like, this dude gonna get everybody killed. So she literally had to leave him at this restaurant and call the people and say, he there, go get him. And people was like, oh man, that's messed up. I was like, nah. At that point, you gotta look at the survival of who's with you and about that cause. Like he wasn't about that cause. He kept trying to go back to Master and say, here I am, come get me. And get the people that snuck me out too. Like, I'm with you. If you ain't with it, like if you once we come down with a plan and we all agree on this plan, one person gonna back out of that plan, you can back out of that plan, but you can't go back from where you came because you're gonna give up the plan for everybody else and get everybody else caught up. So
right, are you protecting one or the masses? Like
right. So I'm with you. I'm with you, blood. Like, all right, you ain't gotta come with us, but you can't go back to where you came.
Yeah,
right.
You can say no.
Right.
You good.
Right. You can tell
From the
like,
beginning.
I respect you more if you told me, nah, I ain't with that. Okay.
Right.
From the beginning. From the beginning. Yeah. From the
That's your
beginning.
choice. That's
You
your
can't
choice.
come to no meet and get some intel to be
Right.
like,
And then go
you know what? I think I'm a back this out.
Right.
All right.
All
As
far
as I can see you now.
Right. Lock that door.
You
Like,
changed your mind now. You knew we was leaving.
This is all hypotheticals, people. We not saying, but yeah, I feel you on that one though.
I feel like it happens a lot, and maybe not in the manner of really protecting someone's life, but I feel like a lot that sometimes, sometimes we give a lot to people who may be a detriment to the community and the culture. And then if you don't give,
he about to tie this back into my man. I see it in his face. I see it in his face. I see it in his face. Go ahead.
That's
go ahead.
That's nice though. I see how you did that.
And if you don't give, then you're considered to be against the race or against the plan or against the culture, and some, it's hard to be an outlier, and a lot of people don't want to be an outlier. So I think, what they say, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people know what they should do, or will know what they should not do, but they keep doing it in order to fit into the status quo and don't want to be seen as an outlier. So what people will do is they will continue to say, this is messed up. They'll have RIP. They'll talk on social media. But what they won't do is join African-American gun clubs. What they won't do is they won't demand not to vote until somebody comes up with an agenda and a platform that really supports their communities. What they won't do is keep their collective dollars in their own communities, which helps strengthen the communities so you can go out and run and won't nobody be trying to shoot you, or you create your own gyms. That's what we don't do. And so a lot of what we put on social media is for show.
Even like we create your own gyms, you still got to protect them because we see what happens when we create our own thing.
Exactly. That's what I was referencing earlier.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, man.
True.
And
that's a heavy topic, man.
As you just said, I just got a thing on my LeBron is outraged over the
speak.
I mean, but you know what?
Speak.
Me and Chris had this conversation.
It is we had Black. Yes,
All right. He speaks.
He does it when it's convenient, though, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
He speaks on
This
things.
is not convenient.
But is he willing? Is he willing to really drop it all and risk it all for everything?
Risk it all?
Yeah, is he willing?
I was about to say now because Black. So before you answer that, Spence. So Black, because we're having this conversation.
Well,
Now.
you know,
And I know you was giving this guy because I wasn't a big fan before his action. So are you giving Kaepernick any type of like positive acknowledgement now? Like, cause he took a big stand, right?
Yeah, but he also took a big check too. He getting paid too. So I mean,
but does that change his stance?
So he got to be a poor righteous teacher, huh?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because we don't know we don't know how much he got, right?
When's the last time you heard anything from Cap?
I don't know. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do we need to hear? Do we need to hear him?
What have we seen?
Or do we need to see him doing things? Because he's still doing things.
Yeah,
like,
he's doing stuff.
Endless things. Like you just don't hear it.
His foundation is cranking here and overseas.
Thank you.
You did what?
His foundation is hopping here and overseas.
And overseas. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, do we hear him? No, we don't. But if you're looking for him, it's easy to find him.
But
like
that go back to
it's
the
not
Jordan
a clandestine approach. Like he's out there.
But it goes back to the Jordan thing. If you go look and find, you see where he does lots of things for Black people and communities.
How you bring Jordan back in this?
No, because I'm saying
it's
just to go with your argument. Say what I said. What have you seen? It's the same thing. Just because you hear what they want to put out there, so they try to put the whole narrative all these years that he was bankrolling a corporation that builds prisons or whatever. It's the whole time it's a old white dude named Michael Jordan that does that, but everybody want to put that on him. So it's always narratives that created by whoever to fit whatever narrative they want.
So I think we got a good plug for the next episode then, talking about media, bro, because like they control what you see. That's tricky. What I'm saying.
They're tricky.
When you ask that,
hey,
look at that.
She said, "Ain't no school,
right. She's like, I'm in here.
I'm up."
I see.
Right.
That was her cue. She's like, Dad, it's time to go big.
Exactly.
But no, I definitely think we should like talk about that for the next episode, right? At least media, because
media
like,
and narrative.
What you see, right?
Narratives and media. Yep.
Like, I know I probably mentioned this book before, but 1984, man, like George Orwell was on it. It's crazy, and that was a prediction, right? He wrote that in 1949.
Simpsons and Boondocks, man.
Right.
They predicted all of this. Corona, everything. Chicken sandwiches, all that.
You said chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, y'all ain't see the Boondocks episode about the chicken and the way people was going crazy over that what is it, Popeye's chicken sandwich? They predicted that 5 years before it happened. But yeah, we didn't we didn't hit on everything, but I mean, I think we've been on here long enough for today. Yeah, so, it was good to be back.
Yes.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like back to attack.
I feel like we was hitting and missing everybody. So, it's good to talk to you, brother. See y'all looking good, doing good, everybody.
Yeah.
Look like they, doing good in this quarantine.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
So what's next week's topics, man? Because we hit it kind of deep today. We gotta be a little bit more loose next time, man.
Well,
I think media should be one of them, though.
Media.
Yeah.
True Blood gotta get his one in. You know what I'm saying? He gotta get his one in.
Because that's how we ended. And I think
we definitely should talk. By next time we will do one, the Erykah Badu versus Jill Scott battle will happen.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be dope.
You know what I'm saying? It sits and cognac just everywhere. Shoot, it's gonna be open. We're gonna have you need to catch up. You need to catch up on the doc, Spence, for real. Because we come back and talk about they're gonna show the next two.
Spence.
They're gonna show the next two. They're gonna go
7 and 8.
They're gonna go into his retirement and everything, man.
Come on, Spence. We got 7, 8, 9, 10, baby. Come on.
All right. Yeah.
Take a Saturday. Take a Saturday and just watch them.
I gotta watch it after Ramadan, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Happy
okay.
Ramadan.
Right.
He said.
Yeah, thank you, man, for the greetings, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right.
You know, you know, Ramadan ain't as flairful like Christmas, you know, but you know, y'all gotta give us his props, man.
Y'all
We ain't got no tree in the background. You know
y'all ain't got no fat white man in a red suit. That's
Yeah, we ain't got no fat Caucasian in the red suit giving all our money.
Oh God.
Giving all our money to big businesses. You know, Jesus was born on December 25th, but I ain't gonna go no further than this.
You preaching.
Oh Lord.
Wait, we still looking for the bones, I thought, right?
Here we go.
But if we got people that's watching this, man, let us know what you think our topics should be, audience members. We really want to make sure that it's authentic. We want to make sure that it's consistent to what is happening. And so we just some regular dudes that got some opinions. So drop it in the comments, as they say. And continue to like and subscribe.
This will be available on everything.
Will, what's your social media, Will?
Willie at Willie Black on everything. Twitter, Instagram, all that. And everybody plug your socials if y'all got them.
I'm at Spence Experience on most social medias. At
Spence Experience. You gotta say it. The Spence Experience.
This is the Spence Experience. And so, what about you, True? You put yours out there. Put it out there again, man.
Yeah, _story. Instagram. Like I said, I'm new to this. Get on the Twitter next. I think that's the next move. But yeah,
brother, Twitter, a whole different world, brother. I'm telling
yes,
you right
it
now.
is.
All right, so let me master this craft first, then. So I'm gonna stay on the gram for now.
That's exactly why I'm not on it right now.
Exactly.
Mine.
Oh yeah,
Get about the social media.
Yeah, you can follow the podcast on Twitter. On Twitter, Brothers Podcast 1 at Twitter, and on Instagram, the Brothers Podcast. And then we have a YouTube page coming up. It's called the Brothers Podcast. The one y'all can like, subscribe, and share on that. The video should be going up. I want to say, what's today? Wednesday, probably Thursday or Friday. We haven't decided yet, but we getting there.
Hey, Black.
Yeah.
Before we get to Tyler and Chris, man, I forgot this, and I don't know how we able to get through the whole episode and we not mention that the DMV is back, baby. Chase Young headed to the Redskins.
Hey, let's get a shout out. You know what? Okay, Spence.
Wait,
Spence. Okay, we're gonna
Redskins. Are we talking about people?
We're gonna talk about both. We're gonna talk about both. I mean, he wants to talk about the Redskins, but I'm gonna shout out for for Chase Young. Chase Young,
Dwayne Haskins.
Okay, stop.
Dwayne Haskins not gonna be there long, bro.
Exactly.
Hey,
Wait, what are y'all talking about? I'm confused.
Cam coming back to Redskins.
Oh, I forgot. True, sit this one out. Sit this one out.
True. We gotta shoot this out.
I'm confused.
Yeah, we gotta definitely put a shout out to my boy Chase Young, baby, from the DMV, baby. I've been knowing that brother since he was 11 years old, man, and he's.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So we get some tickets, right?
Yes. We're gonna try it. I don't see why not. I know mom, dad, and his sister.
Yeah, man.
All the way at the school where I was an administrator at, I'm like, hey, I don't see why not.
Hey, can you we're gonna set up so you can come out of school, all right?
Seriously, yeah.
Look, that's what we were working on. That's what we was working on.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I had him last year. He's supposed to be coming to the school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
guess somebody messed that. I guess somebody messed that up, huh? Never mind.
Oh Lord. So we're not so black. We're not gonna give a shout out to the Redskins. We'll give a shout out to our New York Giants, football Giants, because that's where Chase Young should have went, but he didn't, which is all good.
Kind of like
but we'll get to see him.
Went to the Knicks, right?
Similar.
I just got to talk about
similar.
That I watched, so my bad. Basketball.
Similar.
Oh, since we talking basketball, John Walters did a podcast with stats and all that.
We see now when he doing it.
Stop it. The boy coming back. The boy.
Shout out to the Wizards. That's right.
Black. He ain't played in 4 years. 3, 2. I'm sorry. No, I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just asking.
I'm not taking no slander from no Knicks fan. I'm
asking. I'm just asking, man.
I'm not taking no slander from.
And
he a
Knicks and Giants fan.
That's it, baby. It's the only way to be.
You stay on your knees off the plane.
Man, it's coming from a Redskin fan, baby. A Redskin fan.
Who you with, True Blood? Who you with?
I have no NFL. Yeah,
no. We talking about NBA. Who you with?
NBA.
Orlando Magic.
He like Orlando.
Oh, I'm just checking. Just checking your temperature, bro. Just checking your temperature. That's all.
Checking for what?
Hey,
shoot.
Blackwell. The last time we heard, he was a Laker fan. I don't know what's going on. He's jumping.
Kobe retired.
Oh, so you're a Kobe fan, not a Laker fan.
Kobe fan. I told y'all that day one.
Okay.
Look, once the quarantine in, I'm gonna go back to my people's
Lakers
house.
over here,
I'm gonna get my
Lakers.
get my little penny doll, so y'all see where the commitment was at. Shoot, I probably can get a bag for that now.
Hey, who plays on Orlando Magic?
Aaron Gordon, who keep getting robbed for dunk contests.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
So we talking about that because y'all know that was another rob, man.
Y'all hear his rap song he made about it?
No, we not. No.
Yeah, your man out there rapping.
Can he rap? Can he rap now? Can he rap? Oh, he can. Okay.
Listen,
Crying about yo.
I don't support that. I support what he do on the court.
On the court. What on the court?
He talking basketball.
He ain't talking about missing the playoffs. He talking about not winning dunk contests 2 years in a row. Come on, man. This type of player.
I mean, because we was in the playoffs last year, so like you don't have to talk about that. I'm sure the Wizards probably have to.
What? Don't you do it?
Too late.
Man, we supposed to end this podcast right
Yeah,
now.
we're supposed to.
You know what I'm saying? We about to get into something whole
Did y'all enjoy the y'all NFL draft though?
I mean,
did they not have
it was different. I enjoyed the
It was very different.
memes.
Oh,
I
they
enjoyed
did?
the memes and the cuts about old girl tried to take the phone out of his.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
He finessed the phone.
And who did she used to date? Who did she used to date?
They put Trey Young.
Short, yeah.
So
she
wait.
So she gets around.
They have it.
She gets around.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, I told you Twitter a whole different place, buddy. They'll find everything.
Hold on, I was just joking. So they still had the draft, like the dudes.
Yeah, they did how we doing it now.
Doing the virtual draft.
I was about to say, yo, this is crazy. Like the government said, look, we're gonna let y'all fly in 30 dudes. Oh, okay, never mind, my bad.
Yeah, they did.
That's
so everybody
ridiculous.
was just sitting at home, but that's what made for funny stuff, man. Because you got to see mamas in there. One girl tried to get up. Somebody said it looked like a scene off of Get Out.
Oh,
my brother. Yeah. You understand?
I saw that. I did see that. Talk about, I did see that.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, but it was also some Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad. I thought that was like the regular other days.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was cool. It was but I mean, it's like any other draft, man. I'm only gonna watch the first round, and then that's it. Yeah. But yeah, congrats to the Washington team. I'm not gonna call him the other name.
True. I got you. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Chase Young. But that's a good player. I wish we had him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully him and Riverboat Ron will help to turn some things around in DC. The fans really are owed it. And so we'll see what happens, man. I guess I'll go to.
Why are y'all owed it? Why are y'all owed it? Like,
where'd that come from?
Why? There's an obligation for this.
The management has been horrible for us.
Well, whose fault is that?
Exactly. We all know that. You gotta tell us something we don't know.
Right.
We know that.
The management.
We know that.
Oh, okay. As a New York Giants fan, you can relate, right?
Nah, we done won. We done won in the last recently. 2 decades. I
think in this decade, you give me one in this decade. Come talk.
Actually, we won one in every decade.
Every decade
since
every decade,
80s,
baby.
Since the 80s, yeah.
Okay.
Where y'all at?
86, 91.
I
keep going. 2007. I keep going. Okay.
Y'all you gonna be on the bandwagon when it comes to DMV up.
You gonna have a Chase Young jersey?
Exactly. I'm gonna have a Chase Young jersey at all.
And you got tickets? I can't come to school. I can't come today because I gotta go to the parade.
We'll make it. Y'all see me on TV waving.
Shout out to the Mystics. Shout out to the Capitals.
Yes, Mystics.
We about to be a championship town, baby. All around.
Mystics, the only team that I watch and root for.
Nationals.
Yeah, Miss.
Yeah, nationals.
And the
tough.
Nationals. And the Nationals. Yeah, I like the
Nationals,
Nationals. I
yeah.
respect the Nationals.
Yeah. So y'all not gonna talk about Washington. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, my second team is Carolina now, Tally.
How y'all be,
I'm just.
What happened?
how y'all be going from? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
How y'all just going?
No, Baltimore, then Carolina. I like
There
Teddy
you go.
Bridgewater. I like Teddy Bridgewater.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
That was downgrade, bro. That was downgrade.
And I like Lamar. They both from Louisville. So shout out to Louisville.
True.
Shout out to all the veterans that's watching.
Oh yeah, for sure. Shout out to all the essential workers, man. Like
Yes,
I went, and a
definitely.
lot, and what people not realizing, a lot of these essential workers are teenagers, man.
Yes.
You going
Yes.
into these stores and these fast food restaurants or whatever. Like, all you see is kids.
I didn't realize that.
They're
That's
working
good
like
point.
8
That
to
is
10
true.
hour shifts.
Yeah,
Man.
so they holding it
Crazy.
down. They doing their own, online learning, and they still getting up going to work. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big time.
Big shout outs.
Yeah, man. I was in the grocery store, and I swear all I saw was like teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
At least what looked like teenagers. I mean, it could have been like early 20s, whatever, but still, just young kids, man.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk about this on the next episode because I want to know from the parents of teenagers, like, what decision you would make. Like, would you still allow your kids to go
Wow.
and
Good
work
question.
in this? So yeah, like, I think that's something that should be discussed and shared because again, I'm nowhere near that. My young fella's almost 5, so.
Well, we had that. We just had that conversation between us as adults, and me and my wife was talking about. I was like, "Yo, they open up school. You going back?" Because if they would open up, if they would have got on today and said it's open back up, like, would I really be going back to work? No, I don't know. So even as adults, you got to ask yourself that. But
I told you, I already knew.
Yeah, he said he shut it down. Yeah, he shut it down.
Fellas.
Hey, look, man, y'all have a good one, man.
Yes, man, fellas. Good seeing you guys
It's
again.
been great. It's been real.
It's been good catching up, fellas.
Yeah,
definitely.
And
peace and blessings. Y'all be safe in your households, man. Give your love to the families and all that good stuff, bro.
Yeah,
definitely, man.
Hey, y'all stop being so quiet on the group chat, man. When we ask questions, I had to team up my brother to get
man, y'all go ahead and hang up, bro.
Oh Lord.
Somebody be tricking, that's why. All right, let me set this camera.